Hi boys and girls, this is Mrs. Nunes and I'm going to be demonstrating the mini lesson for Wednesday, April 28th, which is multiplying fractions in your math packet. Okay, so it looks just like this. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be working on problem number 4 with you. Okay, so what I did was I ended up writing it down separately on here so that you can see it clearly. And what I also did was I created a graphic organizer, and I know a lot of you already are very familiar with the Cubes graphic organizer that helps you answer specific types of questions. So the first one is C for circle or highlight the prompt. What is it telling me or asking me to do? U, underline and label key information, which will help you to answer the question. B, build a visual or math model. Draw a picture if you need to. E, estimate. What is a close, reasonable guess? And S, solve with math operations. Make sure that you check your work. And with the math operations, it could be multiplication, it could be division, it could be adding, or simply subtracting. It all depends on your key vocabulary math terms that are within your question. Okay, so I'm going to just put this to the side and I am going to look at my problem number 4. Again, it's on page 40, multiplying fractions. The members of a cross-country team like to continue training on their own during the summer. Mason ran 1.5 miles one day. So I underlined Mason because I know that Mason is going to come up. His name is going to be coming up 3 different times within this question. He ran 1.5 miles one day. So that's really, really important information that we need to know. And there's 3 parts to this prompt. There's A, B, and C. 3 questions that all tie into this prompt here. So we're going to start off with A. Glary's ran 3 times as far as Mason. How far did Glary's run? Well, I know that Glary's ran how much? Oh, 3 times as far as Mason. Well, I know that Mason ran 1.5 miles. So now we need to know is how far did Glary's run? Well, Glary's is here. How far did he run? We know that he ran 3 times as far as Mason. And I know that this time, using my prior knowledge, this is going to be multiplication. Now I could do repeated addition, or I could actually use a mixed number and turn it into an improper fraction. So I'll give you a model as to how we're going to do this. 1.5 plus 1.5 plus 1.5. Now we could do it this way, or there's another way that we could do it. We could do 1.5 multiplied by 3. This 3 is for the 3 times as far as Mason. Glary's ran 3 times as far, and Mason ran 1.5 miles. Now, if we're going to do it this way, we need to change this mixed number into an improper fraction. So we remember MAD, multiply, then add, and then divide. So we're going to do 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So we have 3 divided by 2 multiplied by a whole number of 3. When we have a whole number, we always put the whole number over 1. So it's going to be 3 over 1. So now what we're going to do is we are going to multiply 3 times 3, which is 9. 2 times 1, or 2 multiplied by 1, is 2. So we have 9 halves. Now we can't leave it as 9 halves because the question is asking, well, how far did Glary's run? We're not going to write 9 halves of a mile. What do we need to do? We need to change this back to a mixed number. So I'm going to do my work right in here because I have a little space. And I need to use partial quotient, 9 divided by 2. I know that 2 can go into 9 4 times, which will give me 8. And then when I subtract 9, take away 8, or 9 minus 8 is 1. I have my whole number of 1, my remainder, and my divisor as 2. So my complete answer is going to be not just 4.5. How far did Clarice run? Clarice ran 4.5 miles. Okay, now we can turn this into an area model, but for this one, I really wanted to show you how basic this can actually be if you're just using, and I wanted to review with you, how to turn improper fractions into mixed numbers and mixed numbers back into improper fractions. It's a little bit of a review. Now this one here is Austin ran 3/4 times as far as Mason. Now we're back up here to Mason, so we need to go back here up to the prompt. How far did Austin run? So this is very similar to A. So Mason, we know, ran 1.5 miles. And I have this keyword times or multiplication. How far did Austin run? Well, he ran 3/4 times as much as Mason. So I'm just going to put an M here for Mason. And 3/4 times as much for Austin. Now again, boys and girls, we need to change our mixed number into an improper fraction using MAD, M-A-D. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1. 3/2 times 3/4. Now we know we need to multiply our numerators first. So when we multiply our numerators first, 3 times 3 is 9. And then our denominators would be 2 times 4, which is 8. We have 9/8. This to me, when we have a larger number on the top and a lower number at the bottom, the numerator is higher, so that tells us that we need to change 9/8 into a mixed number. So boys and girls, we're going to divide. And I know, using partial quotient, 8 goes into 9 once. Subtract again, 9 subtracted by 8 is 1. So I also have 1 and 1/8. 1 and 1/8 is not just my answer, boys and girls. How far did Austin run? Austin ran 1 and 1/8 miles. Austin ran 1 and 1/8 miles. Number 3, or I should say C. Geo ran, so we have a new name here, ran 2 and 1/3 times, keywords, as far as Mason. How far did Geo run? So now, boys and girls, what are we going to be looking at? Again, we're looking at Mason up top here. We're looking at the prop. Geo ran 2 and 1/3 times as far. So let's look at Mason again. Mason ran 1 and 1/2 miles. Multiplied by, now our goal is to find out how far did Geo run? How far did Geo run? That is what the question is asking us to do. So really important information, 1 and 1/2 times 2 and 1/3. So now we have two sets of mixed numbers that we need to change into improper fractions using our method of MAD. So it's 2 times 1 plus 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So we have 3 halves multiplied by 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So we have 7 thirds. When we multiply our numerators, we have 3 times 7, which is 21, divided by 2 times 3, or 2 multiplied by 3, and you know that's going to be 6. Now looking at this carefully, we have an improper fraction. We have a larger number as the numerator and the smaller number as the denominator. So we need to use our partial quotient strategy. How many times do you think 6 can go into 21? Well, I know that 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3, I do plus 6, 18. Then we have 6 multiplied by 4 plus 6 is going to be 24, and I know that's going over, so I'm going to use this one here, which is 6 times 3. So 6 multiplied by 3 is 18. I need to subtract and borrow. 11 minus 8 is 3. So now I'm going to take my whole number of 3. The remainder is 3, and the divisor is 6. I have 3 and 3/6 miles. Well, let me just write it over here. I have some more room. Now, boys and girls, can we leave it as 3 and 3/6? I know that 3 is half of 6. I know they have common factors. I believe that if you really look at this carefully, if you look at your factors of 3, 1 and 3, and 6, factors 1, 2, and 3. I have a match. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Do not forget your whole number of 3.5. So boys and girls, for C, Geo ran 3.5 miles. Okay, if you have any questions on this work, please ask your teacher, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.